Hi, gang. I'm back. Hello, hello. I hope your week's going well. Sorry for the kind of late notice on the just getting the notice on this one out this morning, but all of a sudden we realized that I'm not going to be here tomorrow or Friday, so we couldn't do it then. But since this is going to get taped and recorded, not taped, but boy, how's that for a showing your age comment? Since this is going to get digitally recorded and saved by YouTube, you can watch it later if you need to, so you might be doing that. For those of you that are here with me live, hi again, and thanks for joining. We are going to move on to the second very serious lesson that we're doing on a jazzy jingle bells, which is the hokiest sounding thing in the world, but I don't know a better way to say that. So I also have a couple answers for some folks from last week. And like we did before, I'm going to probably spend, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 minutes on this little lesson for this week to give you another nugget to kind of go chew on while you're, working on things this week till we get back together next week. But after that, I'm going to hang out like we do before, and I will take some questions. I'm going, like I said, I'm also going to answer some questions from those of you who have posted them in the past. So let's go ahead and dig right in. We're looking pretty smooth now, aren't we? We just came right on, right at 4 o'clock. I mean, hey, we're getting this whole thing down, I think. Moving on to the piano shot. Now here is where, sorry, there, where I can do it. Yep, got it. As we left things last week, it sounded like this. We were working on the chords. Right? That was the chord changes we went through. The melody line in its very simplest version was, I'll do it up here. Right? All one hand position. Right? And we put them together a little bit, and boy, I got a lot of questions. Well, I'll address that in a second. Let me play this first, and I've got a bunch of questions about people saying when should we change. But I'm going to stick to my guns here, and I'll try to get you through it without actually giving you the lead sheet. I'm doing this on purpose because I want you to learn how to kind of do this by ear. But anyway, let me go back up. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to basically change chords every beat, I guess you will, or maybe it's twice per measure if you want to think of it that way. I'd rather you just hear it. I hate to even say all that. So here we go. It's just like this. Jingle bells, right? Change, change, change. Okay, that's what it was. I'll do it one more time. So, before you start noodling around with that, sorry, let me scooch this up closer so I can get it. Before you start noodling around and doing more interesting right hand part, which we're going to get into next week, maybe you can really hear it that way. It's jingle bells, change, 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 da, change, da, change. So it's just kind of steady moving through, right? So that's all I want to talk about that right now. Let me go ahead and get you the next section that we're going to do for this week's part. We're just going to finish the second 4 measures of this first stanza, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know. So where we were is we were at the D minor 7, and then you go down to the G7. Now, the next chord you need to move to is an F chord, which would normally be here. Right, there's an F chord. But instead of doing it there, here's what I want you to do. And again, this is one of a million things you could do, but I'm just going to give you one that I think will sound okay. What I would do is this. I'm going to slide down to it. It's like playing. That's what we're going to get to eventually. But here's all it is. If that's your F chord, just leave the F the third out, the A in the middle. So just play F, C, and you could just do that if you want. Slide down to it from the F sharp and C sharp. I think it works even better if you add an octave on top. Right? So we have da. Let me do it here. And that's all we're going to play for the F chord. So then we're at the melody part where it's And then we're going to come back up like we were doing before, and then it's just a bunch of repeats. D minor 7 to that G7 again, and then back to the beginning. Now here's all I gave you new here is, so that's what we're using for the F chord, is this kind of oddball. Back up to the C major 7. And then it just goes through that cycle again of D minor 7 to G7 to C major 7. So that sounds kind of dissonant right there, doesn't it? That's one of the reasons I've been playing the melody up an octave, or why we'll probably want to do that. It's just a little easier for you to see here. So again, all I did new on this one for the chord reasons is, what we did last week, da, 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 D minor to G7 to C, then this slide down to an F. Ba, da, 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 back up to a C major 7. And then you just do that D minor to G7 to C thing again. Da, 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 da. Back to the top. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Back to a C major 7. And then just that rotation. Da, do, D minor 7 to G7 to C. Okay? Or you can add the major 7 if you want to at the end. All right, so that's all we added new to the whole thing. Now I want to go ahead and tell you what you're playing here is something that you do all the time in modern music or pop music or the styles that we play, no matter what style it is. This is called a 2-5-1 progression. And check this out. If I'm on a C and that's a 1, right? If I'm starting on, we're playing in the key of C. So if I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, to say it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what we're playing is a 2, a minor 2 actually. That's a 2 because we're playing a D minor 7. And then when we do this, if you remember from last week, all this is an inversion of this, which is a G7, so that's a 5. So we're going from 2 to 5, and then back up to 1. Or I could do it up here if that confused you. Sorry, I was going backwards, like that would be 8, 7, 6, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To do it in the right order, it'd be 2 to 5 to 1. So that's called a 2-5-1. It's a turnaround. It's just something that happens all the time in music. So, and that's how we're doing it. We'll probably do it, 4 or 5 times. So one more time for what I want you to do with this left hand and to get the right hand together. Here's the goal for next week before we start noodling around more. Here we go. It's going to be like this. I'll just keep doing it really slowly like this. There's the 2, 5, back to 1. 2, 5, 1. In your left hand, that is. 5. Alrighty. Oops. Get back to that shot. Okay. So really all I did was just add that one, that move down to that F chord, and we're doing it in kind of a funny way without playing the middle note out of a normal F major chord. Sometimes people call that a power chord. Guitar players play that all the time. And all a power chord is, if you ever hear that, is just a major chord and you leave the middle note out, right? You leave that third out. So that's it. I'm seeing notes that Teresa's moderating for me again. She's saying 3 people have said the same thing of having difficulty without seeing the chord changes. Come on, everybody, use your ears. Use your ears, right? So you can kind of tell that, and I'll do this with it without playing. I'm going to start playing the melody line. We go jing, change, 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 right? change, change. And then this is just sliding. That's really just, all right, you're just sliding down to get to that note. So and then we have, oh, what fun it is to ride. Right, back up to the C. Now you're going to get some changes. A 2-5-1 turnaround right here. 2, 5, then back to 1. Oh, sorry. Change, 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 change. So there you kind of sit on that one. Yeah. And then just do that 2-5-1 again at the end. 2, 5, 1. Okay. Now, if you really feel the necessity to write that out, go ahead and write it out. I've told you what the chords are. And I mean, I am very intentionally kind of digging a little bit for those of you that think you have to see something written. You know, oh, if it's not written, it's not music. No, it's not. We're just going to learn this by ear this way. If you feel like you need to keep just kind of a general outline, go ahead and write down the notes and sing along with it. And maybe just put write the chord change above whatever the syllable of the note is. So it would be like jing, that would be a C major 7, right? Jingle bells, and on the bells you could have a D minor 7. Then jingle, that's an E minor 7. Bells, E flat minor 7, right? So those chords, we've already gone through them. And I posted those actually in a notice on last week's lesson, if you actually want to know what they are, and it's only 4 or 5 chords, right? I posted them up there, but if you need to do it, maybe do a little outline. But boy, I think the goal is, out of all the times I've played this by now, you ought to be kind of humming that in your head. And if you are, just let your ears tell you, oh, it's time to move. Oop, time to go to the next one. Oop. And you know, if you don't go to the next one, it'll sound like a train wreck, right? And so you'll know it's time to move because like, oh, wrong. You know, it'll be kind of funny that way. So that's it. A couple of folks say, thanks for doing it slowly. You're welcome. What's the matter? You guys don't want me to just hammer through these? No, you're more than welcome, and that's fine. Clear Evil says, if it's jazzy, it needs dissonant notes. Yeah, that's true. At some point, there are times that happens. I'll tell you what I was saying about that, though. Just a little tip. Lots of times we substitute what's called a major 7 chord. Sorry, let me switch this back. For just a regular old major chord. So instead of just playing a C, you want to sound a little, more jazzy, you add the major 7th to it. And that works as a great substitution in almost every case until the melody is on the actual root of the chord, because they'll come right down next to each other. And that's where it gets kind of tough, right? We were doing that, like hit this. That wherever, so the way you can get away with that is just move the melody up an octave, because this does not sound dissonant at all. That sounds fine. This sounds a little rugged. Not bad. I mean, whatever your ear sounds okay to you, go ahead and do it. But that is the reason that we move melodies up an octave quite often. So by moving the melody up, it just kind of gives you a little sonic harmonic space. It's sonic and harmonic, both at the same time. Yeah, a little space so things don't get quite so dissonant right up next to each other. Uh-oh. Somebody just said I had that wrong. I was on a face shot and I didn't. Could you see your hands for that last round? Sorry about that. See, that's why I need a producer in here. There we go. Sorry if I didn't have it all. What I was saying was the dissonant thing is that if you'll substitute for a major chord, you can substitute a major 7th chord, and that works in almost every case until the melody that you're on, or whatever the melodic line you're playing or improvising, comes down right on the root. Like in this case, we're on a C major 7. If you come right down on the root and you're playing a major 7th chord, you've got this going on. And that sounds kind of funky. But if you're playing an octave higher, just move your melody up an octave. This doesn't sound funky. That sounds fine. So that's all I was saying. It's no big deal. I don't want to get caught in the weeds. Just you try to stay away from just playing half notes away from each other. But if you get it away by an octave, it sounds fine, That sounds absolutely sonically okay, right? So that's it. Someone still goes slowly while stating the syllable. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to draw a line in the sand, right? You know those chords. You say them to yourself. I'll play the left-hand part. You play them yourself. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! That was festive, wasn't it? Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. And now you know why I play piano and don't sing. Okay? You know, you got to be really comfortable doing a live stream. I have absolutely no idea who's watching this, and here I am alone in my little studio making a total, you know, nerd of myself. But hey, it's happened before. It'll happen again. All right. That's where we're going to stop for the Jingle Bells lesson on this one. Next time, what we're going to be moving toward is next week is starting to noodle with the right hand a little bit more. So we're going to be doing that, you know. You know, which is exactly the same thing we just played. It's just fooling around and sounding a little more jazzy with your right hand. I'm going to give you a few noodling tips for your right hand that way. Okay? So that's where we stand on that one. I think we're good there. Let me go while you guys are, if you can think about something new you want to bring up. This is appropriate, and even though I had this, is that appropriate for me or what? Hello. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go to, the salsa. And I wish I don't remember the woman's name that asked about this a couple live streams ago. And boy, this is potentially going to get me down into another rabbit hole that I'm not sure I want to get out of. But I'm going to do, just because I absolutely promised that I would do this. And I'm probably going to, once the holidays get over, I may do the same kind of a sequential thing on what I'm going to start right here, and I'll start over again. But this could get fun, but it's real departure. So please, those of you that are at a very beginning level, do not let this shove your head underwater. If this makes you, want to give up, then turn this off and go away or hang out until I'm done. But let me spend about 3 or 4 minutes doing this. The question was, hey, how about salsa piano, Scott? Well, that's a super loaded question. Salsa, and boy, I am far from being the expert at this, but in a general case, salsa music was kind of a mashup of some different Latin kind of styles, and particularly as a Cuba, that's son, I think is the way they say it. Son, S-O-N is the word. I'm never sure how to say that. But it's this pattern, it's this rhythmic pattern, and then the salsa, which is kind of funny because it's a word as in the food salsa, it mixed together some different styles and some kind of, it was meant to be hot and spicy Latin music, right? And that was kind of the slang term. So when someone says salsa, I'm assuming what they're meaning most of is something called a montuno, right? And it's this beat, and this is it. Here's the montuno beat. It's da 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 da, right? So it's 1 and 2 and bam 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 bam. So that's it. So while the beat's going on like this, I'm assuming you can hear this on this mic. It's da 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 da. I mean, that's one melody you could have put over it. So it's this kind of melody of going, And you know what I ought to do is turn the metronome on here. Hang on a second. Where is it? Where's my metronome? Function, tempo, start. Where is it? Sorry. There it is. Here we go. Let me turn the piano. So it's like this. Let me start it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's this kind of 2-measure pattern. That's the downbeat again. Okay. So now, and this is all I'm going to do this super, super basic thing just to give somebody a flavor of it, but there's no way we can get into a lot deeper than this today. One of the things you do, you can play that pattern by just going back and forth between, say you've got a major chord played, right? So I'm playing C major here. So I'm just playing that rhythmic pattern like that over a major chord. 1. Okay. Now a similar thing you can do is then just exactly mirror both hands. This is kind of an odd thing in some of these Latin styles, and I can't hardly think of another time piano-wise that this ever occurs where you just mirror each. You play exactly the same things in both hands. So I'll do the same thing and go. Try to get my fingers out of the way. Okay. Now, here's the kicker. This is the part where this is the part where you really start getting the rub your head and pat your tummy thing going on. If you can do it, and boy, it's an odd feeling if you've never done it before, so this is why I can't get much past this when we're just doing this in a quick thing like this today. If you can, every time you play your thumb, copy it an octave higher. So yeah, I was playing this. Right? Now, every time I play the thumb, I'm also going to play a pinky on top. All right? So I'll do that in my right hand and not do it in my left hand. It sounds like this. Now, the final step, I'm sure you're all just glazing over at this point going, what are you doing? I warned you, but I promised someone, so I'm going to at least get to this part where there's something that's going to sound somewhat musical doing this. Okay, so here we go. The last thing is you can do that same pattern on different chords. So say, we always use a C and an F and a G chord, like C, F, G, F, C. I'll do it one-handed, sorry. C, F, G, and you don't want to tuck your finger, again, don't tuck your fingers back like that. I'm doing it so you can see this well. Right? Just major chords. Well, I separated and went, then say I want to switch chords, because at some point, tunes don't just hang out on the same chord the whole tune. They move, right? They got chord changes. So when you want to move, you can move to a new chord, so you can go. There's a G chord. Back to C. Now what really happens is it usually goes between 2 or 3 chords within one of those 2 measure patterns. So it goes like this. Aha, we're finally starting to sound right, right? So do it in 2 hands. Alright, I know it's getting really crazy. Now here's the final one. So you don't have to jump so far. You can use inversion. So we're going to go from a C to an F, okay? And then we're going to do a G like this. Right, so I'm just playing the inversion of these chords. This F, instead of having the C on top, it's going to be down here. And then the G, instead of the note being on top, it's going to be down here. So it's going to be like this. C, F, G, F, C. All right, so now the pattern's going to go like this. And I'll do it slower. It'll be C, F, G, F, right? So again, I'm doing this. That's what I'm doing, but I'm just separating it in the pattern. Oops, did I do that right? Oh, I did it right. Yeah, sorry. Talked myself out of it. Aha! Double it in your left hand. Woo! Now do the octave thing to really blow your brain up, and that's when I'm done. So 1, 2, 3. Instead of doing major, you can do minor. Here's a major one. Instead, we're going to use a minor C and a minor F. Sorry, I do like that. So minor, C minor, F minor. Still have to stick with a major on the 5 though. So G major, F minor, C. So we have this. Ha! Talk myself out of it. All right, that's it, gang. That's as far as I'm going. I'm a man of my word, and I promised I would get to a point where something sounded interesting on that. I will delve into that deeper. I really think that's going to be a fun thing to take little tiny. I just did probably 4 weeks worth of stuff in that one little bit, but I am going to probably start doing these as maybe a serial version of this, whether I just do standalone videos or do them during the live sessions, one way or the other. So there you go, and it'll sound. I tried to put it together before we went live today, and I couldn't do it. I just got too busy today. But hearing that along with a great, a good salsa montuno rhythm pattern in the background really brings it to life. So there, I've done it. I've done my itty bitty salsa piece. So that's that. All right. Any more questions? What else did I have going on? Oh, Mary, did you know somebody wanted the Christmas Carol or the hymn tune? I guess it would be. It is a Christmas tune. Let's see. What am I? I'm sorry. I'm keeping my eyes on these questions too. Okay. Married. Oh, married. Okay. Here's just all I'm going to do. I can't teach these whole songs, but if somebody just wants to get a little head start, here is the start. So this tune, um, you guys know this tune. It's Mary, did you know your baby boy would someday walk on water? Mary, did you know your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Right? The chord changes, I'll just give it away. That's really a good tune to I think most people are going to want to do these Christmas carols and sing them. So I can probably just give you some chord changes away, and you can play them on your own. It's an E minor is the first chord, and the second chord is a D, but actually it's a D. They call it D2. Here's all you do, right? If this is normally a D chord, D, F sharp, and A, just leave out the third and play the second instead, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leave out the third and play the second. So it's just really nice kind of suspended sound. That sometimes they'll call it a sus2. It's just kind of non-settled sound. So you go from this like nice, yeah, so it's E minor to that D2, then to an A minor 7, then to a B7, that chord. So that's kind of the thrust of it. I'm not going to, oh yeah, I will go, sorry, I'll go 2 more lines, because then after that, they just kind of, it's a variation on all these. So then it goes back, Mary, did you know that your baby boy, there's a D again, back to an A minor 7, to B7, Did you know? Couldn't think of the melody. Yeah, did you know that's a C chord? That your baby boy has come. So that's a G, and this is a D with an F sharp in the bass. They call it a slash chord, so it's D slash F sharp. C. So there we go. So it's a C to D to G to that D F sharp with a C on the bass, or then down to a C chord. This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. So that's an A minor to a B7. All right, so that's it. If somebody's taking notes, whoever it was that wanted this one, again, it's E minor. Oops, let me go back to face shot, sorry. It's E minor to D2, so E minor to D2 to A minor 7 to B7. And you do it again, E minor to D2 to A minor 7 to B7. Then that second section is a C to D. Then it walks from a G to D with an F sharp in the bass, C, then up to an A minor, then to the B7, then back to the Mary Did You Know? That's that. Okay, little taste of that one. What else we have? Anything out there, Teresa? It's funny what I'm doing in here, you guys, if sometimes there's some funny gaps, what you guys are actually seeing is happening about 30 seconds in the real world, or after I'm doing it in here. So whenever I ask anything, there's this long pause before anyone hears me. And if not, I'm going to do William Mays. William, thank you for posting that thing of David Tolley's version of Carol of the Bells. And I did play, what was he playing in a G minor thing? Yeah, he was. Here we go. What we're talking about on this one, this is Carol of the Bells. Right. And, it goes on like that. I can show you really at least a starter for that one too. We won't get into the whole thing. So I'm in a G minor chord, right? G, B flat, and D. There's the melody. All the chords doing this, or an easy, actually this is kind of a little bit more modern version of it, but if you play G, then you just move the bass note down to F, then to E flat. That ends up making like a major 7. I think most people would play an E flat regular, but I'm going to do that. So just leave your fingers like this. Bum, bum. Right? Something like that. So then the melody is. And then the second time through, it's just thirds. And I'll tell you where this really comes to life. And I'm sorry, I don't want to move the camera shot. I'll do the same melody, but you can start up top, and it really sounds pretty to do like. Oops, grab the pedal there. Right. Then it goes to a D major. But anyway, that's a little start for that one. So yeah, William, what he was doing, and you really ought to just watch that segment from the TV show again, because you can stop it and start it and really nail it down. It's basically just this pattern. Then he noodles around with it, or anything. He starts playing. He's just kind of thinking like a guitar player, I think. So that's that one. I feel like I officially have gotten my list out of things I promised people. So what else do we have? Anything? I see a, what is that? I can't see. There's a link covering it. Hang on. Do you happen to know? I wonder as I wonder. I don't know that, Shannon. I apologize. I don't. I wonder as I wonder. Wonder as I wonder. I don't, but I can certainly take a peek at it for next time. That's not coming to the top of my mind. So is everybody cool with the Jingle Bell stuff? We'll move on. We'll move on that next week. Yes, I'll assume so. And no, that's not a beer. It's a Diet Coke, I promise. I'll play this Jingle Bells one last time the way I want you to have it for next week. So you can get it at the very end, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. It sounds like we don't have any other questions, or if we do, they're not up there. So here we go. Here's how I want to do Jingle Bells for next week. Go to the piano shot. Here we go. All right. That is where we will leave it for this time. Okay. Thanks for joining me. That'll be round two. I think a lot of people didn't know this was happening on a Wednesday, so we missed out on a few, but that's fine. You'll see me now doing the recorded one. So I will see you guys sometime next week after a nice trip to see my father for a few days, which I'm looking forward to. So I will see you guys next week when I get back in the studio. Have fun, everybody.